Hey, Tykytyk.
It's Tykytyk.
And it's a Patrick.
Anyways, so today we want to talk about some things that we just think are really stupid to cut to the chase and get straight to it. There's a few things I want to start off with first, and then we can get to the big meat and potatoes.
Okay.
So meat and potatoes, you can only imagine the two meat and potatoes that we're talking about here. Meatloaf 1 and potato number 2.
Why can't there be potato 1 and meatloaf 1? There's not one. It's you only say
Because
1 and 2.
1 is number 1.
But they're both
and
different
the other
things.
one lost.
Okay. So pretty much what she's trying to say is, on the weekend, is it Saturday? You slept through the whole thing.
Saturday night?
Most of it.
No, I was up until like the
7th round? Yeah, so pretty much the whole thing. So on the weekend, there was a Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather fight. You might have heard of it. There was only a little bit of buzz on the news, not too much of a big deal. I want to talk about
There was so much of a buzz about it. And like, I guess I get it. But from my perspective, like this peace, love, and let's save the world, and there's all these issues that we could all be helping out with hand in hand.
She's just bent out of her mind for $100 million.
More than $100 million.
For McGregor.
One person got $100 million.
To
One
lose.
person made over $137,000 a second.
Yeah.
Mayweather made over $100,000 a second while that happened.
Holy.
And there's literally starving children in Africa and dying dogs in Aruba.
At least in Aruba. Where else would they be? It's like
there's a lot of dead skunks on our road.
Yeah. Yeah, what about all of them? They need money too. So here's the thing for me. The money aside, I feel like there's kind of at least for me, I feel like there's kind of a conspiracy theory behind this whole fight. How I feel like McGregor was destined to lose, not based on the stats, but on the fact that he just wasn't allowed to win. I feel like the fact that he's a UFC fighter, the only UFC fighter to ever cross over into boxing, with no prior professional training in boxing, no prior fights to work his way up, and the only person he got to fight against was the greatest boxer of all time, 49-0 Floyd Mayweather. And with that being said, since he got that fight, he got to skip by all these other people who could have actually had the opportunity to fight him.
Sorry, does that mean he's now 50-0 or that was 49-0?
No, he's 50-0 now. I'm just saying. He's 49-0 before the fight, 50-0 now. But the thing that's crazy to me is Conor McGregor's net worth before the fight was $34 million. And Floyd Mayweather's was over 300, was it 300 million? Over 300 million. I know he's a 9-figure celebrity, 9-figure income earner, 9-figure whatever you want to say. Either way, he is worth 10 times more than McGregor. So the fact that he even took this fight at all really made no sense. Probably what I'm thinking is behind closed doors, he's like, I'm doing you a huge favor by letting you even step in the ring with me. You're going to be gaining $100 million, win or lose. So he's tripling his net worth.
Is this even more conspiracy? Like, now we've got friggin', there's the whole secret worlds and Illuminatis and all these people involved in this being like, you two are the chosen ones to make this big match.
There's so much paparazzi and media attached to McGregor's name right away. So the fact that he's like, if we get in the ring, people will go insane to see this.
I
just feel like the fact that McGregor is literally 0-0 going into this fight as a boxer. He's never fought a professional boxing fight in his life. That was his boxing debut. And the person he gets to fight, like I said, is the most world-renowned, top of the line, greatest boxer of all time, which isn't really fair. But the fact that if McGregor won that fight, I feel like Floyd Mayweather would be just considered to be a huge laughingstock for the rest of time. If he was 49-1, he lost to a UFC fighter.
Well, first of all, UFC fighting gets a lot more intense than
boxing. I'm just saying it's not fair because, like, there's so many things like, oh, he's a UFC fighter. If it was...
Okay, but he also came out of retirement, so he hasn't fought in however long, where somebody else has been training for a really long time.
That's what I'm saying even more. He hasn't fought for however long. But he comes in and still wins. He's not allowed to lose.
Okay, not allowed to lose.
The storybook ending is too big. The 50-0 is too big of a storybook ending for it to be 49-1. The bad guy in this case would have been McGregor, and you can't let the whole world would have exploded if he lost. if Mayweather lost that fight. Like, if you saw, like, how he was even fighting, he was, like, pawing at the back of this guy's head like a cat half the time. This guy is he's a skilled fighter, he's not a skilled boxer. Like, hands down, he's just not. So the fact that they're like, yeah, sure, you can definitely have this fight happen, and we're just gonna let things go. This guy's, yes, he's trained in boxing, but compared to Floyd Mayweather, the fact that he's even allowed is insane. Also, the way that they called the end of the fight, it felt staged. Like, people have seen the degree of punishment that McGregor has taken, and then continued fights, and even continued and then won fights. So the fact that he got taken out on a TKO in the 10th round, so it's like, oh, there's 2 more rounds, so he would have lost either way by decision. Oh, he was so tired, he probably would have got knocked out anyways. So we're just gonna call the fight, and he just automatically loses. Everyone that saw that was like, what the heck is this?
Glad I just spent $100 to freaking...
Yeah, I feel like no matter what, I was talking to somebody before saying, no matter what happens, even if Mayweather is getting destroyed, somehow he's still gonna win. No matter what, he's not losing this fight. Was it kind of staged? Like, even the trash talking was just kind of it was funny.
Well, that's the whole point of life nowadays. Apparently, you can just get your way through life by just talking trash about other people. I mean, I guess that's kind of what we're doing right now, too. And drama gets publicity.
Yeah.
He's going to go out there and he's going to call him out and be like, I'm going to take you down. And whatever it was that they were having their back and forth, that's what made it so popular.
Yeah.
Had he just been like, I want to fight Mayweather and, I'm going to win because I've been training really hard and I'm really talented, that wouldn't have caused the fight.
No,
there had to be more of a push and poke the bear and poke the bear. Poke the bear out of retirement.
Yeah.
You poke the bear out of hibernation, he's going to claw your face off.
That's the thing. There are tons of skilled boxers who would have done a way better job that just didn't get the opportunity because they aren't loudmouths. So they didn't write as good of a story. The publicity, like this got announced more than a month ago that this fight was happening. The craziest thing to me is $100 million, no matter what, win or lose, and he didn't just win $100 million, he tripled his net worth. Imagine how much money you have as your salary right now.
If I were to
tripled it in a day. Tripled it in 10 minutes.
If I were to triple my net worth in 10 minutes, I still wouldn't even have $1 million. Oh,
yeah. Well,
I'd have close to, but I wouldn't have $1 million quite yet. That's bananas. I'm going to start punching you in the face and then just see how much money I can make. Yeah, that's going to be our next video.
Pay-per-view. Tykytyk versus GKD. That was the first shot right there. But yeah, this is just something that I wanted to talk about because I feel a lot of people are thinking that it is kind of a conspiracy theory, kind of like the whole Patriots versus Seahawks. Why didn't they run the ball on first down inside the 5? It's just too much of a story. It just didn't make any sense. It could have won that Super Bowl just like how, at least for this, I feel McGregor was never going to win. He was just not allowed. For the sake of keeping boxing as a competitive sport and still having its reputation, he's not allowed to win. And it just kind of, that's what I thought right away.
Yeah. I mean, the other side of that is it could have been like, oh my God, this huge conspiracy of like where all of a sudden UFC fighters are coming in the game and aliens are taking over and zombie apocalypse is happening.
You never know. Like, on the flip side of it, if McGregor did win, if he did win the fight and he was allowed and there was nothing staged and he literally outclassed Mayweather, I just feel like every boxer, their pay cuts would be like 1/10 of what they get now. Because UFC fighters do not even make close to that amount of money. Like, one of the things that they said in the end of an interview that I saw between McGregor and I don't know who the girl was that interviewed him, but she asked him, now that you've made this much money off of a fight, are you still going to go back to UFC? As if it's like, now it's a waste of time. Because I think one of the fights he did, he made $50,000 off of a fight. That was like for the belt. 50 grand. So that's less than what is that? 0.5%? 5 of a million? 1%? 2%?
That's so crazy. That is so crazy. That is an entire, like, somebody, I mean, nowadays you couldn't really run a household off of 50 grand. You can, but
that's just what makes it insane. Like, 50 grand to win, 100 million to lose. Why would you go back to UFC? And almost like everyone's going to start taking shots at boxers. Manny Pacquiao versus, I don't know, get Anderson Silva back in here. I don't know. Shit.
Donkey Kong versus Mario.
That's the same. But yeah. So anyways, that is it for the video. I just want to get this out there and kind of just do like a little quick analysis on this. If you did like this video, please be sure to like it, share it. If you have any contrasting opinions or any comments that you have towards anything that we had said, be sure to leave it down below. If you're watching this on Facebook, leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, still leave a comment. And until next time, we will see you later. Peace. So we're gonna do that right now. All right, so we got our water right here, and now we're gonna put this in there somehow and not use all of it at once. I'm so nervous. Spin that.
You don't doubt.